we set up the meters in a real world type of setting, and they ran 2 different studies for us, one off of a single meter and one off of a meter bank of 10 meters in a simulated real world environment. And they confirmed what we were saying, that the strength off of these meters is about 2 microwatts per centimeter squared at 20 centimeters. And that is less than 50% of the Swiss standard. And I have some things I can show you too in a moment. So from a strength perspective, we know it's really low. From a duration perspective, the total transmission off of this meter, whether it's normal operating circumstances, an exception type of circumstance, like when there's a lot of outages and storm type situations, or even when we're first getting it set up, when they do communicate a little more frequently, is less than a minute. And you'll see, and I have copies actually of the PlanetWorks reports. I didn't know how much detail you wanted, so I have them if you'd like to read them. They're good for putting you to bed at night. But they'll show you that it's seconds a day. So we transmit data 3 times a day. The meter collects it hourly, but it only transmits it 3 times a day. And then about every half hour or so, the meter will just make sure that it's part of the mesh, and it will send a quick millisecond communication message with it to make sure it's still on the mesh. These meters will only capture hourly information. Once electricity is flown through here, BC Hydro has no idea what you're doing with it. We cannot tell what you're using it for. There's no appliance signatures that let us know what you're doing with it. We do not know what is happening with that power. Privacy of customer information is something we've always taken very seriously, and we also have long-standing legislation that governs us, and that's the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The governing body for that is actually not the Commission, as a lot of people think. The Commission is only a financial governing body, the BC, British Columbia Utilities Commission. The governing body on privacy is actually the BC Privacy Commissioner. And we've been working closely with her office on privacy and security ever since we started this program. So we're governed by that legislation. We take that very seriously. Our meters will collect hourly information, and we have invested quite heavily on the security side of this. When we talk to, and we have some third-party specialist security firms working with us, they'll tell us that the best practice in security is it's what they call defense in depth strategy. So it's having multiple layers of defense to prevent somebody getting in or hacking a meter. And then it's to have multiple layers of defense should someone get in to trap them. So, and I can't tell you all the things we've done from a security perspective, but to prevent folks from getting in, we have encryption, 3 different layers of encryption. We have security keys. We have, I can't remember, I've gone blank. I'll think about it in a second. Anyway, we have about a dozen different ways to protect you being able to get in the first place. And then if you're in, we have multiple layers of defense after that. Things like a technique they call honeypots, which is a way of attracting a hacker to a different part of the system where there's no information, they can't do any damage, to a number of redundant kind of layers, to the fact that customer information is not connected with your meter information until the meter reads are back in our data center behind the firewalls and fully protected. There's no customer information on a meter. There's hourly consumption information and information about electricity.
I see.
And the closing point on that is we've also hired a professional security services firm to do white hat penetration testing. So we actually have a professional organization trying to break into our metering system.